swap screens around. I'm trying to find my chat box. It just disappeared for a moment. There was a question there from Karen. And I texted you back, Karen, with a reply to it, but I seem to have just lost it at the moment. I don't know where it's got to. Did you want to ask any of the presenters, Karen, specifically your question in relation? I think it was to do with software.
Well, I had several questions, Neville. The thing is that with regard to the software, my general question was, as all you academics have had to make quick decisions as to what software to use, did you choose the right one or did you make the wrong choice? And if you made the wrong choice, can you change? And how is this impacted on your budgets?
Okay, is there one of the presenters would like to address that? There are quite a few questions popping in, and due to my poor time management skills, we don't have a long time to address them. Is there anybody who's presented would like to address that question about software and choice?
I will do that. As a department chair, we talk to a university and researchers. It's not the individual professor's choice, it's a university choice because they standardize the quality of education.
Right. Any other comments to that? I do know in the case of RMIT, there was a concern expressed about security with Zoom, and we were told to use Teams as a result. Others may have similar experiences, I don't know.
Yeah, but the thing is, Zoom is a lot easier than Microsoft Teams, isn't it?
I think it's sort of, yes, probably from a, it's like anything, once you get used to it, I suppose, okay. But I didn't want to dominate the responses. It's more for the...
And Microsoft has a long reputation of making bad and insecure software.
Who was that, sorry, Gunther?
Microsoft. Well, they've screwed up many things.
I've got a note here from Paloma saying, Graham, I'm assuming Graham Yules had a question or questions? It just says Graham.
Thanks, Neville. Well, one of the consequences, this is both to Connie and also to Laura. I mean, one of the consequences of the teaching being online is that we all had to do online assessment. The students hate it and the staff hate it. It's the most stressful thing possible. So one of the things I'd like to see as a permanent change as a result of this is that staff think a lot smarter about how they're going to do their assessment, and they don't focus on exams, that they focus on project-based assessment. The students enjoy it a lot more. When COVID's finished, are we going to go back to the normal exam process? Every university is saying no. From here on in, all examinations will be online. So hopefully staff get a chance to really rethink how they're doing their assessment. Assignments, industry-based reports, a lot more fun than boring exams.
Yeah, thanks, Graham. I think RMIT's on song with that. Connie, did you want to respond to that?
Yeah, thank you. Graham is I think QUT also have the similar policy about the online exam. I think we especially with QUT Business School, we definitely not going to go back in class. But for engineering and other discipline, they actually doing in the class exam for the November just gone. So I agree. I think we have a very difficult situation this year, like in terms of changing the assessment and the uncertainty. I think we need to rethink for next year and doing the assessment alternative for different assessment. But the first semester when we're doing online exam, the result is much better because students doing it online so they can open book exam rather than closed book. But the second semester, I start seeing some collusion. So it's really like, I think next year we need to change the assessment. Agree with Graham. Thank you.
Okay.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah, yes. I was about to go to Irvi, the next, but yeah.
I just want to ask one question. I'm Zheng Yuzhou, was the PhD of Paloma, and now I teach in China, and we have both on-site and online class. But the most difficult things for us is for the exam, because we both on-site and online, they will take place together. So it's so difficult for us to invigilate the students online to do the exam, whether they were cheating or something. That's unfair for the on-site students.
Yeah, that's true. Just working my way down the list here, I'm conscious of the time. I've got a message here from Irvi and then Francois. So Irvi, you had a question of Connie, but I think she may have addressed it.
Yes, can you hear me? Yeah, I have a question for Connie. This is Irvi here. So I heard from Connie's presentation. Connie said that they adopted a hybrid teaching, like some of the students are in the classroom and some of the students are doing that online. But as far as I know, that hybrid teaching should be very, very challenging. I want to ask whether Connie have this kind of experience for the hybrid teaching. Thank you.
Connie?
Yeah, thank you for the question, Irvi. Yes, it's very challenging. And this year, I only have one class that has the hybrid teaching. And we have two professors that is actually teaching. And every week, that one is actually helping the online and the other person dealing with the face-to-face. So we can get away with this kind of resources this year, but I know next year we can't really do that. So we have to think about how we can handle the two modes with only one person teaching and delivered, because it's very challenging. It was manageable when we have a couple of people in the class. Thank you.
Thank you, Connie. Francois?
No, thank you very much to the presentations. I found them very interesting. I suppose the question is this: the narrative that we use. I know at the University of Cape Town, we haven't called it online education. We called it emergency remote teaching for a very good reason. That online education, there's an expectation of a fully dressed model that works where there's been a lot of investment. I think what many of us have been doing this year is really getting through an emergency system. And then the issue of the assignments. I mean, I had that discussion the other day where somebody said, well, we can't handle the assignments. And I think, as Graham mentioned, the question to be asked, can we carry on with the exams that we know? So I think we're trying to straddle this world between face-to-face and online. And we're trying to push the face-to-face onto an online platform. So I would just like to have the thoughts around that. Should many of us actually be calling ourselves that we are offering an online course at the moment? And are there risks of doing that? But anyway, maybe there are more comments than questions.
There's a lot in that. I've just got one other question, which is around from Catherine. But would anybody like to address Francois' question, then Catherine, and then I better nick off because we're all running over time. And I've had an email about my golf clubs behind me, so I just need to explain why they're sitting there before I go. So anybody would like to address Francois' question? Okay, we'll move on to Catherine. Did you want to verbalise that text message, Catherine, or are you quite happy for it to be sitting there?
I think I'm quite happy. If anybody can answer it well and good, but I think it's a way of just asking questions, especially all the problems the students have in terms of speeds or accessibility or connectivity, whether we should be not speaking to service providers to give us subsidized rates. And then universities, like a university as a whole, computer, or ICT teaching departments, you're complaining about Teams and whoever else, Zoom or Google Classroom. Can't we come up with our own teaching aid or software that would help us as you teach? Thank you.
Yeah, I think one of the problems is that this pandemic's caught us all by surprise. I don't think many of us have had a chance to prepare in any way at an individual university level. And I know in the case of, to tackle something like that, we'd probably have to have a consortium of universities approaching the providers to see what can and can't be done. But look, I'm going to wind up. I apologise. I had troubles getting in the first instance, so I apologise for coming in late, and that caused a bit of a knock-on effect time-wise. I'm not very good at the backdrops that academics so often put on their screens, but I thought I'll just leave those golf clubs there because I'm about to take 4 weeks leave, enjoy our summer break. That's one of my pastimes. So they've come out of the cupboard and they're about to be used. So look, all from my point of view, I just want to wish everybody Merry Christmas and a good break. And I believe some of you, even in the Northern Hemisphere, in the middle of your semesters, will have some time off. So I hope you enjoy that. I'd feel sorry for Eamon in Christmas in a lockdown, but it's the way it goes, guys.
Most of us are
very, very well, and take care. And thank you so